Today's show, another live-action anime movie has been greenlit. Top Gun 2, is it in the danger zone yet? And Gladiator 2 may just become a reality. Real movie news starts now.
Surely you can't be serious.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Greetings, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Real Movie News Podcast, a place for all of us real movie fans. I'm your host, Kylan Riley, and this has been a very interesting week in the world of movie news. Now, before we get to any of that, just one thing I wanted to remind all of you off the top. Look down below this video and you'll see that there's a subscribe button. If you haven't already, click subscribe, leave a comment, leave me a like. It really helps out the show. And then while you're feeling generous, feel free to head over to Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Kylan Real Critic. And while you're at it, you might as well subscribe to my blog, realmovienews.net. Doesn't it feel great to be plugged in to the real movie news community? Absolutely it does, which is why you should also grab a random friend, the closest friend next to you, or the closest friend you're about to be next to. Grab them, grab their phone, do whatever you have to, get them subscribed to the Real Movie News Podcast. All right, and that'll just about do it for the shameless plug, so let's dive right into those movie topics. And the first topic that I would like to discuss today is actually going to pertain to box office. And according to last week's box office, we had some highs and we definitely had some lows. First high, I called it. Halloween was number one again for the second week in a row. A Star is Born came in second place. I called that last week as well. And Venom came in third place. I called that all the way. So Halloween coming in with an extra $31 million, bringing its total value on just 2 weeks, honestly, is $126 million. A Star is Born brought in another $14 million, bringing its total to $148 million. And Venom, the movie that everybody months ago was saying could never work, saying, oh, you could never make a Spider-Man-less Venom movie. Well, Sony proved them wrong. They brought in another $10 million, bringing its total gross for just 4 weeks to $187 million. This is actually interesting. If you look at Venom worldwide, it is not that far away from what Justice League did last year. And that was a movie that had nothing but a whole bunch of superheroes like Batman and Superman and Aquaman and Wonder Woman. That should absolutely have done Avengers-style numbers, and it didn't. So the fact that this single superhero, Super Venom movie, the fact that this movie did so well and is so close to beating Justice League just tells you how much fun it is to see. Now, as I also said with the box office, there was a little bit of a low. Hunter Killer is the only movie that had a new release this past weekend, and it came in fifth place. It only brought in $6 million. This is terrible. For a submarine movie, an action submarine thriller that stars Gerard Butler as well as Gary Oldman, to only bring in $60 million, especially when it's up against movies that have been in the box office for several weeks, for it to only come in fifth place is not great. Now, most of that pertains to the really bad critic review. If you want to know my thoughts, you can head over to realmovienews.net, where I typed up a review for the movie. I was unfortunate in being able to get a review up on my blog. Here on the YouTube channel. I was having a few issues with internet. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to get an audio recording up for my review of Hunter Killer. But if you are interested in my thoughts on Hunter Killer, like I said, you can head over to realmovienews.net. Now let's jump into one of the main topics that were teased at the top. It director Andy Muschietti has been picked to do a live action version of the very popular anime and manga series, Attack on Titan. Now, if you listened to last week's podcast, you heard that I was poo-pooing all over the idea of having a live action anime done of My Hero Academia. So, you would be right in assuming that I'm going to poo-poo all over this idea. And I'll tell you what, I am not. This is perfect. I love Attack on Titan. It is brutal, violent. It is very deep in all sorts of character studies on man, what it means to actually survive, what does it actually mean to live, and what does it mean to be a mindless drone just surviving. The entire series is perfect for live action. There's not a whole lot of over-the-top anime stuff and that's not a put down. I love My Hero Academia, but there is so much of it that would not translate well to a live action setting because it's nowhere near anything that we can compare it to in our real life. Having a half man, half bird person who has his shadow that is attacking another person who looks like a tree but can spit fireballs out of his mouth is not something that is going to translate well into a live action setting. However, Attack on Titan is not like that. Attack on Titan is about these humans who are living within a walled city. Now, the wall is segmented into different sections, and as you get closer and closer to the center of this section, the richer and richer you are. So the further out you are, the further away from the center, the poorer you get. So you have this hierarchy of what man has created, and it's during a time where on the outskirts of this wall, and now keep in mind, this wall that they have built themselves into is hundreds of miles long. So they've still got plenty of room to move around in at the beginning. Outside of this wall are these monsters, these humanoid giants called Titans, and they are completely brainless. They walk around almost with no purpose other than to eat humans. And one day the wall comes down, the Titans start coming in, and all mayhem breaks loose. And so now man that's become complacent within this wall, knowing, hey, life's okay, we're getting by, the Titans are out there, we're in here, nothing's ever broken through for over 100 years, we're going to be fine. And then all of a sudden, boom, these Titans break through the wall, come into the city, and start wrecking shop, completely taking man out of their comfort zone that they've been living in for over 100 years and making them so that they actually have to fight for their survival or face utter extinction. This is something that we can absolutely relate to. They fight with swords and knives and guns against these giant humanoid Titans, something that is absolutely going to be able to translate well in real life. And to Andy Muschietti, the guy who's been set to direct this movie, he directed It. And if you've seen It, you know that Pennywise, the dancing clown, is a terrifying character. And the fact that somebody with that mindset, somebody who's able to create a character that menacing, is now going to be working on creating these terrifying Titans that are bloodthirsty, mindless creatures just here to eat you and all your family. I could not have pictured a better director for this. Now, Muschietti is still a little bit busy. He is currently still working on It Chapter 2, which has currently a release date of September 6th of next year. He has nothing currently on his docket outside of It Chapter 2 and now this live action telling of Attack on Titan. So it's easy to assume that this will be his next project that he dives into. And I'll tell you what, this is something that I'm highly, highly looking forward to. There's not a set release date on this project as of yet. However, the fact that we're currently hearing about this and the fact that he has It Chapter 2 coming out September 6th of next year, I think that we can probably anticipate Attack on Titan to come out either the very end of 2020 or possibly the beginning to summer release of 2021. That's just my best guess. No matter what, I'm highly looking forward to this movie. But I want to know what your thoughts are. First off, are you a fan of Attack on Titan? Have you seen it? Do you think, like me, and think that this is something that can be translated over into a live action setting? If so, leave a comment below. If you don't think so, go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let's make a discussion out of it. If you haven't seen Attack on Titan at all, does this sound like something that you'd be interested in? I want to know your thoughts as well. And for our second topic today, Top Gun 2. Is it still going to happen? Well, so far, yes. They just brought in a new screenwriter, Christopher McQuarrie, to work on the script. Now, this has been a long time in production film. I remember hearing about Top Gun 2 years ago. I'm talking 2012, 2013 is when I first started hearing rumblings about a Top Gun 2. And here we are now at nearing the end of 2018, and the movie still hasn't even really been filmed yet. Now, the reason that they've brought in Christopher McQuarrie is to do a little bit of a touch-up on the script. Now, if you've been following this story at all, you know that Top Gun 2 was pushed back a couple months ago. So initially, Top Gun 2 was scheduled to come out next summer. However, it got pushed back a month ago to June 26th of 2020, so a full year later. At the time, there was only a couple of speculations and rumors as to why they would do this. Now, Tom Cruise requesting Christopher McQuarrie to come in, I believe, is the reason why the movie was pushed back. They want time for McQuarrie to come in here and do a little bit of a touch-up on the script. Now, here is where I actually think that this is going to be okay. McQuarrie and Tom Cruise have worked together on a lot of movies. They've worked together on Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. They've worked together on Edge of Tomorrow, which is a movie that I freaking love. And they also worked together on Jack Reacher, another really good Tom Cruise movie. So him coming in to work with Cruise on this script, I think can only be a positive. I mean, while it is not unnecessary, while it is unfortunate that the movie had to get pushed back, if it means getting a better product, then take your time. Do what you need to make sure that the sequel to Top Gun is treated with respect, and that when it does eventually come out, that it's going to be as beloved as the first. Now, you can reach for the stars on that one. Chances are that it may not be as good as the last one, but that's an unfair comparison, to be sure. So far, Top Gun 2 is shown to still have Joseph Kosinski directing the movie. He directed Tom Cruise in Oblivion. And we have Val Kilmer returning as Iceman. Also joining Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer on this movie is going to be Jennifer Connelly, Miles Teller, John Hamm, Ed Harris, wow, and Glenn Powell. That is a star-studded cast. Honestly, you couldn't really put together a better team. So they've got the makings to make this really, really good. Now, do they have the execution? We'll have to find out on June 26th. Now, I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you like Christopher McQuarrie coming in and doing a touch-up on the script? Do you think this spells disaster and that the movie's falling into a danger zone? Or do you feel the need to rush out and see this movie? Does the prospect of having a Top Gun 2 just take your breath away? Leave a comment below and let me know. And with that, we're going to move on to our third topic. And for our third topic, Bad Boys 3! It's confirmed, y'all! Which is what we heard from Will Smith just yesterday when he posted to his Instagram a video of him and Martin Lawrence freaking out because it's finally official. We are finally going to get a Bad Boys 3. Now, this is another project that I really never thought was ever going to happen. Once again, I've been hearing for years that we were at some point supposed to get a Bad Boys 3 movie. However, Will Smith's schedule has been absolutely crazy. He just keeps jumping from movie to movie to movie to movie, and we have no idea what the hell Martin Lawrence has been up to. But it's jumped around. There's been so many different directors. There's been so many different writers that keep getting attached and then not attached. Sometimes we'll hear something about this project, and then all of a sudden we'll hear nothing for months. And then we'll hear, "No, guys, it's coming, and then it completely dies again. And I had completely given up hope that we were ever going to see this movie. And with the post that we got yesterday of November 1st from Will Smith, I think that he would not have done this if it wasn't 100% confirmed they are finally moving on. And just to show you just how hopeless, I'm going to use that word. I'm going to use hopeless. The reason this project seemed hopeless is because just last year, Martin Lawrence said the following about the movie. "I don't think we're going to get one. Not the way everything's turning out. Will is off doing another movie, and I don't think it's going to happen. I'm there. I'm ready right now. If they wanted to do it, I'm ready. But I don't have control over that. That's the studio's decision." And honestly, that is indicative of how everyone felt about this. Will Smith was so busy that no one ever thought this movie was going to be made. But the fact that it is going to be made is awesome. Now, this is in the very early stages. There's not even a script yet. There is a script being penned. Right now it's being penned by Chris Bremer, who did The Wedding Ringer, which is a okay movie, I guess. And of course, it still stars Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in the leading role. If you're interested in seeing this announcement that Will Smith put out on his Instagram, I've got it posted on my blog. So if you look in the description, I'll put down a link so that you can go to the article that I posted and you can see it. Or you can just go to realmovienews.net and just search for Bad Boys 3. It'll come up. All right. And for our final topic before we jump into trailers, director and Academy Award winning director, I might add, Ridley Scott has said that he wants to make a Gladiator 2. Now, if you've ever seen Gladiator, you would know that due to the ending, making a sequel may be a little bit problematic. So you can be forgiven if you never thought you would ever see a Gladiator 2 movie in your entire lifetime. I definitely fall in that camp. However, Ridley Scott lately has been on a kick of bringing in sequels and reviving and trying to breathe new life into projects that made him famous in the first place. You have to look no further than his Alien franchise to see that he's been trying to breathe life into that one for several years. So him making this movie kind of falls into the same vein that he's been doing for quite a while now. Now, it needs to be noted, this movie has not been officially greenlit by any studio. The only thing that we know is that Ridley Scott has told Deadline that he is working on the script. We don't know when the movie is going to actually come out. We don't even know if the movie is going to be made. We don't know what actors or actresses are going to be tied to this project. So definitely keep in mind and take this whole thing with a huge grain of salt that we may never ever see this movie. But the fact that this is even in the ethos around and that this is even being considered, I mean, surely it's going to be made. Ridley Scott hasn't had a hit since The Martian. His Alien revitalization project fell flat on its face. So he's looking for another big win. So he is going to more than likely really push for this movie to get made. And hey, if he is able to make it work, good on him. This isn't a movie that I personally was asking for, but I've been shocked before. We'll just have to wait and see. But what do you think about Ridley Scott attempting to make a sequel to Gladiator? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think that, no, Gladiator ended perfectly, it's a perfect movie, it doesn't need a sequel? Or, even better yet, what do you call a sequel to Gladiator? what do you think your favorite title would be? Leave a comment to all these questions below this video and let me know what you think. All right, guys, that just about does it for our main topics for the news. However, we're not done yet. Now comes the time to talk about trailers. The way that this section works is I am going to tell you what trailers came out this week, and from there, I will then give you a description of each one of them and let you know what my thoughts were on said trailer. If you are interested in checking out these trailers, check the description of this video below, and I will make sure to put links to each one of these trailers. Sound good? Cool. Now, this was a light week for trailers. We only got 3. However, these are 3 trailers that were actually pretty good, despite not really being any trailers that I was anticipating seeing this week. Nothing of real note came out. The first trailer that came out was Tyler Perry's A Madea Funeral. Tyler Perry's A Madea Family Funeral. The next movie to come out was Isn't It Romantic? That obviously a romantic comedy. And the third movie was a Will Smith animated movie for Spies in Disguise. And you'll see why that's so cleverly named here in a second. But first, let's talk about A Madea Family Funeral. First off, Tyler Perry movies, especially the Madea ones, those are not my cup of tea. I've never seen one that I really liked all that much. Full disclosure, I haven't seen all of them. After I saw a few of them, I just kind of gave up on the franchise. Maybe that was unfair, but hey, life is life. That being said, this trailer made me laugh. I really got a kick out of this trailer, and heck, I'll probably actually be going out to see this movie. And it's a shame that this is the one that could possibly get me on board, because as soon as this trailer dropped, it was also announced that this is going to be the last Madea movie. Tyler Perry was being interviewed on Sirius XM radio, where he said, and this is his quote, "I'm happy to kill that old bitch. I'm tired, man. I'm doing one last tour in 2019, the farewell tour, and the last movie is Medea's Funeral that I shot 2 years ago. So we're going to say goodbye." This is interesting that you would end on a funeral movie. Now, full disclosure, I do not think that Madea is going to die, even though him saying, hey, this is the last movie I have with this character. Oh, by the way, this is called A Madea Family Funeral. I just think that this is just a coincidence that funeral and end happen to be together. Now, the man's tired. He's been doing these Madea movies since 2005. The first movie that came out with him in the role was Diary of a Mad Black Woman, which is pretty funny. And then from there, it's almost like he's had one of these movies come out every 1 to 2 years. It's been insane. So he's been soldiering on. It's time for a break. It's time for him to start branching out and doing a whole lot of other things. He's been doing really good acting in a lot of other roles. One of my favorite roles that he's shown up in so far was Gone Girl with Ben Affleck. That role was awesome. So anyway, the trailer, it's funny. And honestly, I'll probably go out and see it. The next trailer, like I said, Isn't It Romantic? It's a romantic comedy that is starring Rebel Wilson and Liam Hemsworth and is scheduled to be released into our theaters February 14th of 2019. So yes, we have our Valentine's Day movie. And Rebel Wilson is somebody who occasionally pops up in these movies that I'm very hit or miss. This is a very unpopular opinion. I do not like the Pitch Perfect movies that she's in. However, I really liked the very small role that she had in Pain and Gain. So she's definitely got some comedic chops, and this trailer demonstrates that. She is somebody in the trailer. You see that she is somebody who is overweight and is not too confident in herself. And through a series of unfortunate events, she hits her head and wakes up, and now she is in a romantic comedy movie. So this is a very meta romantic comedy, and it's PG-13. she meets up with Liam Hemsworth's character. If you don't know who that is Thor's younger brother. Chris Hemsworth's younger brother, Liam, looks just like his older brother, Chris, which is absolutely crazy. But Liam Hemsworth is in this movie, as well as Adam Devine. This movie looks kind of funny. I'm not the biggest fan of romantic comedies, but if you are, this is definitely something for you. If you've got a sweetheart, then you've got a movie to see on February 14th. I definitely give this trailer, at least, a thumbs up. As far as the movie, I'll give it a we'll wait and see. And for our last trailer, it is a Will Smith animated film called Spies in Disguise. Now, this movie is pretty much Will Smith is a kick-ass, badass spy. He's one of the best ones in the world, and he is accidentally changed into a pigeon and probably is unable to change back into a pigeon. If you take a look at this trailer, it is pretty funny. Now, the movie doesn't come out for another year, so this is very much a teaser trailer. We only get Will Smith, and we only get Tom Holland's character, who is the person who changed him into a pigeon in the first place. What I actually find the funniest, not only about the trailer, but by the title, is if you think about it, Spies in Disguise. Okay, so he's a spy who's in disguise as a pigeon. But think of it this way, Spies in Disguise. So he's a spy that's in the sky. Get it? Yeah. If that type of brain trust is what made this movie, so the same people that titled this movie, then we know that we're in good hands. Don't expect another trailer for a while. This is very much a teaser trailer. This is an announcement trailer, just letting audiences know, hey, this is what you can expect to find in a year, and hopefully it'll be good. This trailer has a thumbs up from me as well. All right, everyone, that concludes the second episode of the Real Movie News Podcast. I had a lot of fun recording this. I hope you guys had a lot of fun not only listening to my melodic, honey-like voice, but also being able to catch up on the latest and greatest in movies. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at Kylan Real Movie Critic, or you can find me on my blog, realmovienews.net. Also, guys, I mentioned this last time, and I'm going to continue to mention this until we start getting a little bit more participation from everybody. I would love to tack on a little bit of a mailbag session at the end of these clips, or at the end of these shows. So far, I've only gotten one or two. I want to be able to get a few more before I can start doing it. So for those of you that have sent in movie-related topics, questions, or just want to know a little bit about me, I'm gathering those up. I'm holding on to them, and I'll let you know. I'm going to email you, or and for one guy who sent me a comment on my Facebook, I'm going to message you there as well and let you know when your question's actually answered on the show. For the rest of you who have yet to participate, feel free to send in a question. Like I said, I'll take questions on movie topics. I'll take any kind of questions that if you need to know how the industry works, believe it or not, I do know a little bit of the ins and outs. So if you want to know how a movie is made, I can probably answer that. And if I don't know the answer, I know exactly how to find the answer out. Or if you just want to know a little bit about me, do you want to know top 10s? Do you want to know what my favorite movie of the year is so far? These are all examples of questions that I am looking forward to being able to answer. So send those questions in, guys, and we'll start adding that to the Real Movie News show. Anyway, that wraps it up for me, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, you can always catch me on Twitter at Kylan Real Critic or on my blog at realmovienews.net. My name's Kylan Riley, host of the Real Movie News Podcast, and until next time, keep it real.